Thank you all very much for hanging out with us this evening. And now we're going to have a question and answer session, probably about 15 minutes or so in length. And let me introduce our moderator for today. We have Peter Gilbert with us, and he's an associate professor of music composition at the University of New Mexico. His music combines traditional instrumental writing with elements of improvisation, live performed electronics, and other media in works for the concert hall, as well as for multimedia, theater, film, and installation. In his words, he attempts to become enveloped in a musical experience, disappearing into sound. That's a great way of putting it. He has received commissions and accolades from the Barlow Foundation, New Music USA, the Siemens Music Foundation, Kennedy Center for Education, the Aaron Copland House, ZKM Institute for Acoustic and Music, and Rousselot Foundation, the Look and Listen Festival, the Third Practice Festival, IMEB Bourges, and Kennedy Center Education. He has taught at Harvard University, the Cleveland Institute of Music, Wellesley College, and currently teaches composition at UNM. Gilbert's music can be heard on solo albums with New Focus recordings and on Innova, Sonoluminous Centaur, and at I don't know. Somehow we lost that page, but we will let you fill in. That's quite a list of accomplishments there. So welcome everybody to the Q&A session.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Thank you for your film, Michael. I really appreciate it. It's great to have you here. Thank you all for being here with us. There was a lot of really beautiful stuff in there about a sense of place and a sense of home, and I just wanted to quickly read a statement about our home here in New Mexico and the land that we're on. We often do a land recognition of the land that this campus is on, which was obviously originally Native American land. So we honor the land itself and those who remain stewards of this land throughout the generations, and also acknowledge our committed relationship to indigenous people. We gratefully recognize our history. I just wanted to start off with a quick question, sort of a logistical question. Do you speak Romanian?
I do not.
Okay, so...
Yeah. Thank you for all coming out tonight on a rainy Wednesday night.
So my first question is, if you're doing a film that's primarily based on interviews done in a language that you yourself do not speak, that seems like a challenge.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I had a translator to translate the questions, either one of the subjects that wasn't being interviewed at that time, or on certain days I'd have a translator to ask the question, but then you just shoot a lot, and then you transcribe and translate and then cut from there.
Yeah, and even just making arrangements for all of that, you're getting help from people on the ground there, or?
Yeah, I had a producer in Bucharest named Ada Solomon, who is a really great producer in all of Europe. She's well known, kind of part of the new wave of Romania cinema in the 90s. She's done great films, but she helped me get contact with the kids in Ferentari and play a group, and then I had another gentleman who was our fixer, but ended up kind of being our destroyer, because I had to fire him after the first day, but he did. He's getting his credit and he got paid, but he kept talking over the subjects. So it was a problem after the first day. He had to go.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
But he did give us access to a lot of those bands. And it was an artist friend of mine from Marseille who did a show a long time ago in Bucharest with this French pyrotechnic artist. And they had some gypsy bands, some Romani bands in their show. And that's,
Yeah, well, the scope of this is just enormous. We're going through huge varieties of cultures and human experience, and then you're painting all of this history as a backdrop for it. So I was wondering if that scope was really a part of the original plan, or if it kind of grew that way as you were discovering the film.
It kind of grew that way, but we looked at other films that were out there on the Romani, and there's not a lot, and the ones that we found were smaller in nature, and so we wanted to kind of do a grander kind of thing where we go through the whole history.
Yeah, well, I found that really helpful for giving context for a lot of the tension, well, not, I mean, tension may be the wrong word, but a lot of the sort of interesting dynamic that's happening in the contemporary world. So I think, to me, the big question that comes out of this is the position of tradition and maintaining that. It's very interesting having seen it now several times, that you open with the kids, but then also Ovidiu, and this sort of juxtaposition between the young Roma artists and this maintenance of tradition. So I guess I was wondering, are you seeing that as a contrast, or are you seeing those things as a continuum? I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the traditional music is dying out, and you're seeing this evolution occur, and so it's as a contrast and a continuum, both.
Okay. Yeah, I loved that you built the last chunk of it around Nicoletta. She's just such an incredible figure, and I thought is a really nice foil, like the Beisinger comment that she makes, where we see this exoticization of the Roma in the 19th century is kind of reborn in these modern, very sort of lascivious male gaze videos, and seeing this sort of new tradition forming in the playhood, where Nicoletta is like this. It just seems very different in that incarnation of it.
Yeah, she's doing quite well. She has a duo hip hop group right now with another woman, and they're doing quite well. Like, she's getting quite famous in Romania, which is great.
Yeah, and maybe by forging new elements of tradition, it allows for some of those very sort of gender-defined barriers.
Well, exactly, and she's come out as LGBTQ plus, and with, I think, the artist that they're a duo with, and it's really nice to see.
Fantastic. We don't have a ton of time, so I want to make sure that if people out there have questions, that just throw your hand up. Oh, yeah.
Is there a central location where we can find more information about all the other films on the Romani? Like, for instance, do you have a website?
No, but we are going to be releasing these NFTs soon with this company called Origin Foundation, and 10% of the proceeds will be going to the Playhood group in Bucharest, and it'll be with that push we'll create some community-based websites and such where informational, we found like that. I mean, just off the top of my head, I could tell you a few. But, yeah, Lachadrome, the Gypsy Caravan, was a doc by a woman director, I can't remember the name right now. A few others, but yeah, we should do something like that.
How long did you spend in Romania for filming?
So the first trip was 8 shoot days, and then the next was 12 shoot days. Then I did another trip of 3 shoot days, and a total of about a month probably. Yeah. On and off over about a year. Yeah.
Can you tell us what drew you to this project or how you came on board?
Yeah, I always collected like Romani photography. And there wasn't a lot out there, but and I've always just kind of been interested in the unknown. I like majored in Islamic history in college, and I don't know. I've just always been trying to lift up a rock and see what's underneath it, kind of thing. And I went through a pretty long illness right before I did this project, and this was the first project I did coming out of it, so I wanted to do something personal and kind of a passion project. I produce some more commercial stuff in LA, but for money. But this was more kind of just a passion.
Were some of those photographs that we were seeing from your collection then?
Meaning the photographs that I've taken?
Yeah, or no, well, that you said you had.
Oh, that we collect, yes,
yeah.
The Kudelka photos. Joseph Kudelka did a book in 1962 called Gypsy, and there's only like 18 photos or something in there, but they're all just amazing, black and white. I think we used 2 or 3 of them. Mm. But Jordi Oliver, I found this guy Jordi Oliver. He lives in outside of Barcelona in the mountains, and he's like a true artist. This guy's amazing, and he's been traveling with me to all these festivals in Europe and giving photo exhibitions at the same time of his work. And he goes and lives with immigrants all over the world. He's really great, and I'm really happy to help push his work. We use about 39 images in the film of his.
I have a question. Oh, hey, it's on. I loved your film in the aspect that it gave me a sense of a different culture. I used to play violin. My teacher was Romanian, and I learned why she was so hardening as my teacher, and I came to respect her even more after seeing this film and the culture. What was something that you took away from the culture that helped to maybe enrich your creativity?
Well, the kids in the ghetto in Ferentari, when I was with them for a few days, that was just eye-opening for me. I have 2 children. I live in Malibu, and so I would get home every night and bawl to my family, cry to my wife, and it's just it's upsetting to see people with no opportunities. I probably took away that the most, and then how rich they were, even though they had no money, they were so rich. They were so charismatic and empathetic and really good people.
Actually, I have a question. Did you kind of have any set rules or kind of guidelines that you went into making this documentary about not kind of tokenizing them or kind of putting them under the lens, so to speak? You did a great job. It seemed very organic, and they were there to be there with you. Did you have any set rules that you kind of engaged with before you began?
I mean, the biggest rule was when shit was about to get crazy, to just do a big smile and laugh a little bit, and then it seemed it. But I do feel sensitive to that, and I might be guilty of, fetishizing it or some poverty porn or something. I hope it's not. I don't know, I was just in Korea at this film festival, and Saba Filoyan, this activist filmmaker who did that XXX Estacion, on Hulu right now. And she had some issues with this, me being a white man, and making it. We became friends, and she told me I shouldn't make my next film, which I'm about to make, which I've already started making. So it's funny. But
What's your next film?
it's called The Last Living Hollywood African. It's about a real close friend of mine, Toxic, who grew up with Jean-Michel Basquiat and Ramosi And they're like the Hollywood Africans in this famous painting in the Whitney. And it's just about the, like, kind of the true history from their perspective. Because they've been exploited by, you know, Schnabel exploited them, and Fab Five Freddy and Warhol even. I mean, a lot of people did. But.
Have you received any feedback from Romanian artists for your film?
About this film? Yeah, the Unita from Klejani, Margarita, and Viorica, they've seen it. They actually came to my house in Malibu. One day they called me up and they were like, "We're coming to dinner tonight." I was like, wow.
So they liked it?
Yeah, they really liked it.
Other questions? I was wondering how you came to settle on the raven, the cuckoo and the raven, as a sort of central metaphor for the film.
Well, as you can see in the film, the title comes from a lyric in the song "Cuckoo and the Raven," and about the white bird, you know, kicking the black bird out of the forest, and then one day when I was shooting with Nicoletta, she started like freestyling about ravens, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Oh yeah, they call us ravens because of our black hats and because we'll eat meat off the street." And I was like, "Wow, you know, that's horrible." And then she was like, "But I like it, you know, and I'm gonna represent it, you know, like." And I was like, "Wow!" And corvids are the smartest bird in the world. You know, ravens are part of that, I guess, genus, or what is that you'd say? They're a corvid, and. So then, so with these NFTs that we're doing, we've done not animation, but these beautiful drawings of ravens anthropomorphized with like Romani clothes and patinaed instruments and such. And so and I made sure that each one had like hubris and self-love and dignity in each one, so that we could kind of change, you know, have them be, you know, represent that and kind of embrace it and try to change the stigma of it.
Nice. Yeah, I was, I love the line, "Run, Raven, run, hold it, catch it, here it is not." And to me, there are a lot of really beautiful moments that sort of echo each other across, you know, different dialogues that are happening from different people. And that reminded me of Yonetta talking about coming back after his trip abroad and wondering where he is and where he belongs, and this kind of the difficulty of trying to grab hold of something and it slipping through your fingers, that sense of identity maybe. But, you know, another thing that really I thought resonated for me was that sort of about halfway through the film, I think, Beisinger says that she had asked this musician what was the central character of this Romani music, and he said, you know, it's the pain. And you have these images of parents losing their children, but by the time we get to Ferentari, it's the children who are losing their parents. That's kind of an interesting sort of echo and inversion of that. But that sense of loss being the sort of central corridor between those two inverted pairings.
Yeah, and the similarity and parallels with the African American experience in African American music, and then also in Korea. I was just in Korea. They you know feel like they've been or they have been persecuted or subjugated by the Japanese and Chinese for thousands of years, and their music is all about pain as well. Their traditional music. So it's just interesting how everyone relates with each other all across the globe.
All right, well, thank you, Michael. It's been really great. Thank you, everyone, for being out with us. Thank you to AFMX for having a great festival. And more shows tomorrow.